Okay, so this is my final project for Mis586. This is Insight and Innovation for Creating Value with UX. Here you have my table of contents. Okay, so this project, the inspiration arose from insight gleaned in my proto-persona development. So it was this initial user interviews that got some great feedback. And that input allowed me to define my opportunity for creating value. I have defined my opportunity for creating value with UX as enhancing airline passengers' seat booking process. This inspiration arose from my initial user research. So again, to reiterate, my opportunity for value creation with UX has to do with airline travel. My persona is a business professional, and I am enhancing airline passenger seat booking process by including imagery at seat selection in the booking process. What you're also going to see is 3 different colors. So you've got a blue, a green, and an orange. I've color-coded the areas. Blue is the inspiration. Green is for iteration 1 of ideation, and orange is for iteration 2 of ideation. And that'll just help you go back and forth between the different variations. The final work, anything that has to do with the MVP, is color-coded black. As I developed my user's journey, I found there were many opportunities for value creation. However, the driver for my value creation opportunity was received in my first round of persona development interviews. And that had to do with a user that said, if there was a 3D model of what you need to see, like legroom, for example, she said, on Qatar, some seats are smaller than standard. So this actually led to my value creation opportunity. So what you're going to see on the following pages will be MVP and static images. And my innovation ideation starts in the middle of Air Canada's seat booking process. The design changes I've added are noted with the yellow stars. And just a little bit of background, a lot of my user interviews were mainly conducted guerrilla style, so I just went up to people in Union Station or at different art colleges in Toronto. So it was really fun, really unnerving, and some of them wouldn't take the gift cards, and some of them, after I was particularly exhausted, I gave them 2 cards because I was so thankful. And what you'll see on this page is just some blocks of information that kind of bring out some key points of each iteration and each phase, sort of the inspiration and the ideation in iteration 1 and iteration 2. First walkthrough. So what you're seeing at the beginning is exactly the same as Air Canada's online seat booking process. So the 01 to 04 is exactly the same as you'll see there online. And normally what happens at 04 on their system is you click a seat and then it goes straight to 09 and it shows red and then you're done. And it doesn't give a confirmation. In my new design, what I'm doing is that on 04, when you click a seat, a modal pops up, and then you're going to see 05. And in 05, it shows the seats, an image of your seats, and it gives you specifications, and it allows you to scroll through and pick different images of the seat so you can get an idea. From there, if you looked at, so 05 to 08 are all the different views. And once you're done, you're either going to hit cancel and go back to 04 to rebook a seat, pick a different seat, or if you like the seat, you'd hit select seat, and from there you go to 09, and at 09 the seat is selected, it shows red, but I also added a confirmation kind of thing, the seat selection confirmed kind of thing. And then you exit. Now, one thing we might think is, oh, red is an odd color, it's a warning thing. And I thought about that, but then I also realized that that's one of their main colors. They pretty much have a beige and a black and a red, and that's it kind of thing, and some grays. So I think they probably, it was a design thing, like let's keep our colors simple kind of thing. So I thought that was fine. And I think that in this instance, it would be okay. At the top of this page and the page before, you'll see a link to the live prototype, and we'll go there and I'll walk you through that in a second. Now, the reason I've included this screen with larger images, again, if you're not looking at the prototype or you're not online, you'll be able to look at things easily. So this just this is my full flow from the seat booking. You jump in, you start looking at the different images, you can click around to see which seat you like, and then once you pick a seat selected, and that's it. So this is this is your concise view of where I'm going with this. Okay, so now we're going to look at the prototype. I've opened it like this so that I can show you how it works. Let me just move this out of the way. So up here at the top where it says options do fit to screen, and then you want to make sure you're at page 1. So just hit design 1, design 2. So you design 1 is Air Canada's current flight, current flow, and essentially you just start here, you go through, you come here, you pick a seat, and the second you pick a seat, its sign shows red and you're done. So that's their flight. Theirs. Mine, we're going to just walk through it. So we go through as a business customer, continue. I just did continue, I guess it's easiest. So right here, this is where users will pick a seat. So they'll pick a seat, but what happens in my flow is the second they pick a seat, so they'll pick the seat, you get a modal, and it shows you the visual of the chair. And of course, this isn't their exact seats. I just took 4 different images and put them on here so that we can show how it works. So what it's doing is showing specifics of the seats, so measurements, location, the seat number. Sometimes the aisles have like this, the row has 2 seats, sometimes it has 3. So that might be important, especially if you're the window seat and you've got like 2 people jumping over you. And so what I've done here is I've allowed it so that I've built it so that the user could click through and see the different images, which is really fun. First of all, it's an interactive experience, but then they can also see, look, I've got so much leg room. And it gives them a little bit more, like the first user said, like they'd have a little bit more confidence with picking their seat and knowing they're going to be happy. Now, what they can do is that if they're like, no, I don't like the visuals, I don't like the measurements on this, they could hit cancel, go back here, pick a different seat, and go through the same thing. Check the seats, and if they're okay, they hit select seat. Now, once they're done, it comes here and it shows the seat that they selected as red. This is something that I added, seat selected, confirmed seat around, because they didn't seem to have any sort of confirmation of selection. And again, I mentioned before the red, I think that has to do with Air Canada. So I just left it for now and then continue to payment. So that's it in a nutshell. It's pretty simple. And now we will go back to the actual presentation. So from this point on, essentially we're looking at supporting documents. This section is design iteration 1, so the ideation and reporting for that phase. Here we have our evaluation canvas, so how we set up the study, and the opportunity canvas. Because I'm creating something new, the study is formative, and I'm doing it within user study. Target audience is business travelers. The UX design direction is to add seating imagery at booking, hoping this will encourage clients to upgrade and generate more revenue for the business. My sample size is low and data analysis will reflect that. Here we have the prototype 1 and this was current state. So this is what Air Canada's system looked at right now. And I just built it out like this so that I was showing the exact same look and feel to the participants, so there would be no confusion. Because if I took them directly to Air Canada's site and then showed them my design, it would be confusing. This page shows my upgraded prototype for design iteration 1. So here you see the flow, and you see section item 3A, passenger seating A. That's essentially where they're going to click a seat, and from that we're going to have the modal. With my data analysis for this one, I did a validated contract, so I did EOU, PU, and BIU. So we found that ease of use was high for both systems. However, 100% of the users felt Design 2 would be easier. They felt that the images solidified the user's perception. For the perceived use, Design 2 had a score of 6.92, higher compared with 4.92 for Design 1. For the intent to use, Design 2 had a higher score of 6.83. However, users felt they had to use either design regardless, so they have no choice. They're business travelers and they need to travel. For the qualitative data, I asked users 3 key pieces of information. Do they like the design? Would they prefer images? Would they recommend the design? I always ask if they would recommend something when I'm doing user research, because this elicits final concerns and it gives me an opportunity to give them some input so that they can better respond in a way that's going to be useful for my study. So what I found with my qualitative data was that 87.5% of the users did like both designs. 87.5% of users would prefer images in seating booking designs, and then 100% of the users would recommend Design 2, in contrast with only 25% of users who would have recommended Design 1, which is currently in play. So pulling things together from Design Iteration 1, adding imagery in any capacity at seat booking would be a huge win for users. 100% of the participants felt that images would increase their willingness to upgrade their seating. So this is moving in the direction of our business goals, and that would be to increase satisfaction and ultimately increase revenue. Actionable insights had to do with copy. Participants were concerned about knowing what to do. There were repeated concerns about font legibility and accessibility. Ideation and reporting for Iteration 2. Again, same target audience, business travelers, same goal, seat imagery at booking, study is formative. This time around, I used 6 participants, and I also changed my qualitative questions a little bit. I found that they were essentially just telling me what they liked and didn't like, so that's essentially what I asked them. Did you like it? What did you like best? What didn't you like? So I changed my qualitative questions, and I also changed it to a sus survey. Here we have the prototypes. So this is Design Iteration 2. So now I'm actually using Air Canada's. These are essentially straight off their site for Design 1 because we're going with their system. And then if we look at mine, Design 2, essentially once we get to the seat picking section, I've added the modal with the imagery. So analyzing the data, so for this second design iteration, again, I did a sus survey, and what we're going to do is just walk through some of that. So I can say with a 95% confidence, the results of this survey had a means of 97.9. So that's pretty high. So I mentioned before Design 1 works. However, with my proposed solutions in Design 2, the system usability can increase by almost 10%, which is a big jump. Analyzing the data. In Iteration 1, users were actually confused with the wireframes. So now that we have the actual images, it's easier to elicit excitement from them and positive responses. So we found that 83% of users loved the images that popped up at seat selection. 83% of the users gave unsolicited feedback about how those images made seat selection better. We also had 33% of users mention legibility as a concern. In summary, my goal was to use insight to drive innovative design. The business goal was to increase satisfaction, and that would drive revenue. The UX goal was to create a better experience. All research that I did, even in the proto development, showed that imagery in booking has a positive perceived use with participants. In fact, in Iteration 2, it showed almost 10% sus usability score increase. So 10% compared to the current design. Therefore, I feel this design will be a huge win for the business and the customer in innovation. On this page, you'll find references, and this page also links to the appendices.